I hope my videos inspire you to make your own story to share out of a tale shared with you. My videos on making stories out of shared tales to share are part of YABS TV for Schools by the Young Alberta Book Society. YABS. My name is Tololwa Mollel. I'm a sharer of stories through my published books, plays, and stories I perform to audiences. In my videos, I share preliminary drafts of stories I've written out of tales shared with me. I'll eventually share my stories when ready with audiences. Use my story drafts as share tales to make your own stories to share with an audience. Get tips on how to make and share stories out of share tales from my video. My first one, make a story to share out of a share tale, how and why. Get more tips on how to share your stories with audiences from my final video, make a story out of a share tale to share, thoughts on sharing. In this video is my draft of the story, Billions of Rice Grains. Like my other stories in these videos, I'll perform it when ready to audiences. For Billions of Rice Grains, I was inspired by a tale I've come across in many versions from rice growing societies, including Indian. Make your own story out of this tale that I've shared in this story draft. So the story. In an ancient time in India during a famine, the king announced, "Oh, I wish I had something to relax my mind from the tough job of ruling my hungry subjects." One day, a stranger appeared at the palace with a chess set. He told the king, "This will relax your mind." The king had never played chess before. "I'll teach you," the stranger told him, and he did. Then they played. After many matches over the next few days, the king said, "Ah, yes, that was relaxing." He offered to reward the stranger for the pleasure of the chess lessons and the games and the rare feeling of relaxation that had brought him in his hard job as king during this famine. "Ask for whatever you wish, and I'll grant," the king told the stranger. The stranger said to the king, "Here's how you can reward me." He pointed at the chessboard. "Place 1 grain of rice on the first of the 64 squares of the chessboard, 2 grains on the second square, 4 on the third, then on each square after that until the 64th. Continue to double the number of the grains of rice. My reward will be the total number of the grains of rice from all the 64 squares." The king was surprised. What a modest wish. But he quickly realized how far from modest it was. Soon the rice had to be held somewhere else when the chessboard became too small for the growing number of the grains. At the 10th square, the rice grains numbered 512. At the 20th, they numbered 524,288. At the 30th, 536,870,912. At the 40th, the rice grains numbered 549,755,813,888. The king was alarmed and asked, "How much rice will it come to at the 64th square?" The stranger chuckled, "A lot." At that point, if you added and placed end to end all the rice grains from all the squares on the board, they would form a line 60,000 billion miles. The king was shocked. 60,000 billion miles of rice grains. The stranger said, "Yes, equal to several trips to the moon and back." The king stared at the stranger. How do you know all this? Not only am I an expert chess player, the stranger said, I am also a crack mathematician. The king shook his head. I can't give you that much rice with my subjects starving. The stranger said, fair enough. You don't have to give me the rice. He smiled. Can I make 3 other wishes instead? The king hesitated. Slowly he said, okay, as long as they aren't impossible wishes. 2, the stranger said. No, there won't be. For his first wish, he asked, could you hire me as your chess expert? The king's relieved expression said what he was thinking. Whew, that's an easy one. Quickly, he said, I would be happy to have you as my chess expert. The stranger studied his second wish. He asked if the king could also hire him as his expert mathematician. I have more mathematic tricks I can teach you, he said. They too would relax your mind. The king tried to hide his pleasant surprise, but his face couldn't help saying what he was thinking. An easy one too. He said yes to the wish. For his third wish, the stranger asked the king if he could become one of his advisors. He said, with the knowledge I have, I would be of great help to you. This time the king didn't bother to hide what he thought of this last wish and how the stranger had saved him from the embarrassment of failing to grant the grains of rice wish. This too is an easy one for me to grant, the king said. Patting the stranger's shoulder with appreciation, he added, I like the clever and gracious way you turned your impossible wish into 3 possible ones. Yes, I would like very much for you to be one of my advisors. To rule during this hard time, I need all the help I can get from clever people like you. End of the story. In the many versions of it I've come across, the original tale centers on how the rice grains multiplied exponentially in numbers. The versions differ on who the chessman is, his deal with the king, why the rice grains are needed, the king's reaction to the growing amount of rice. Make your own story out of this tale that I've shared in this story draft. For more tips on how to share your own story out of the billions of grains of rice, or any of my other story drafts in my other videos, see my final video, Make a Story Out of a Shared Tale, to share. Thoughts on sharing. Thank you.